Hey y'all, welcome. Listen, today's video is going to be all about a condition known as fibromyalgia and how I have lived with it and managed it for the last 40 years. That's right, 40 years. Whew, that's a long time, isn't it? Hey, stay tuned because we're going to chat about this. It's going to be good. Video is all about fibromyalgia, and it's going to be in 3 parts. The first part's going to be, what is fibro? That's what I'm going to call it most of the time. What is fibro, and what are the symptoms? Second part is going to be the road to diagnosis, and I'm going to share some of my story. And the third part is how to manage it, how I've managed it, and I hope I can give you some tips if you're struggling with this disorder. And by the way, let me just mention right out, I am not a medical person. This is not a medical video at all. It's just my experience, my perspectives of what I've gone through, and hopefully I can pass some tips on to you. All right, let's get right to it. What is fibromyalgia? What is it? Well, y'all, I spent about 6 years trying to figure that one out, trying to get the answer to that, because back in the day when I got my first symptom, it wasn't even heard of hardly. I mean, it may have been in textbooks, but no doctor I went to had a clue what was going on with me. But let me cut down and give you the short answer to the definition that I think works the best, and that is this. Fibromyalgia is a disorder that presents itself as chronic, long-lasting, widespread pain that does not go away. It can get better and also flare up and get very bad. But since the day in 1984 when I got my first symptom, I've never been without it. And I'll be 70 this year. Ooh. It's coming, y'all. I'm almost there. But anyway, so that's what fibro is. Now, the main symptoms, you can Google this and find a whole, back in my day, we didn't have Dr. Google. But I will share with y'all what I think the main overall symptoms are. The first main one is muscle soreness and pain. And by muscle soreness and pain, like if you have the flu and you ache all the way through your muscles. Like if you've been to the gym and you hadn't worked out in a while, and that deep soreness. Like it sort of feels like if someone walked up to you and did that, you would bruise. That's what I'm talking about, deep muscle soreness. And then that tends to affect your joints. Whether you have arthritis or not, it causes pain in your joints. So there's that. And then the other one is extreme fatigue. Extreme fatigue, and I'll just talk about that later. Another one that I did not have initially, I got it later on, was trigger points. Now, trigger points are pressure points. I can show you the ones you can see right now. I can tell you exactly where they are. Here, 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 and on down. I could, because they hurt every single day. Think of trigger points or pressure points like if you were in a big city, and I used to live in Atlanta, and all the interstates, when you have what we called one in Atlanta, Spaghetti Junction, when they all come together at one point, they're all highways coming in like this, and especially at rush hour time, they can get all locked up and there's traffic bumper to bumper for miles. Well, your ligaments and tendons in those pressure points and trigger points in your body, that's where they're coming together. Those are intersections, okay? And they're all coming together. And if they get all twisted and locked up, that just locks you up and there's extreme pain right there. They're also called pressure points because if you put pressure on them, that's why sometimes massage therapy really is helpful. Even acupuncture, some people have found. I mean, imagine in these big interstates, if you took a big needle in that traffic jam and you came right down here like this and penetrated that needle right in the middle and all the traffic cleared out. That's the way you can kind of look at it. Those are trigger points. So the road to diagnosis, let me tell you my story. In 1984, in May, I turned 30. In June, I woke up one morning with the ball of my foot feeling sore, as if I had bruised my foot on a rock or something. And I said to myself, that's weird. I just woke up with it. I limped around that day. By the end of the week, I had that same sore pain going up and down my legs in waves. And I couldn't hardly walk. Also, it was in my back. So I thought, maybe this is a disc problem or whatever. So thus began the 6-year struggle I had trying to get somebody to tell me what in the world was wrong with me. I had all kinds of tests. At first, they thought it was stemming from my back. I had x-rays. I was put to bed for 2 months, told not to get out of bed. I had a 2-year-old, y'all. So after that, I was put in the hospital in traction to take the pressure off of my joints and muscles. That didn't do anything. And finally, this is on into about 2 years. Now, they said I didn't have life-threatening anything. So I said to myself, I'm out of here. And I just put it aside and went about my business and learned how to function. I needed to work. And I want to mention this right now. This is important. Y'all, in life, you have to function. You have to be able to live your life, if at all possible. And you have to do it realistically. And I'll come back to that in a minute, what I really mean by that. So I just went on about my business and I got out of bed. I went back to my life and worked around it as best that I could. And then what would happen is another year or so go by, and instead of just being in my legs, it started traveling other places. So now I had it in my hips, and it's just going, it's kind of crawling up. So then you go back to the search. I went to rheumatology, and they didn't know what, they tested me for rheumatoid and for all the different kinds of arthritis. At the time, nothing came up, and they didn't know what to do. I even had a hysterectomy that I didn't need because on my monthly period, it was so much worse. That's because all of this, y'all, is inflammation. That's what it is, inflammation in your body. So then during that time of the month, we are so much more inflamed inside. So it was unbearable during that time. So they said, well, this must be gynecological. So yeah, I had a hysterectomy. At this point, I'd almost lost hope. I was able to function, but not very well. I could barely crawl out of bed, and the fatigue was so difficult and so hard. And let me tell you why the chronic fatigue is so bad. Listen, it takes a great deal of energy to hurt. Your body is fighting physical pain. It's what it's supposed to do. And it's using up half of the energy that you have for the day just to fight it. And then to rise above it and function takes another whole measure of of energy. And then there's about this much left to get you through the day. So finally, I had a friend that told me about a new doctor that had come to town. And now we're up to 1990. And he was an internist that was supposed to be really good at diagnosing a strange or mysterious condition. So I went to him. I didn't have a whole lot of hope, but hey, I'll give it a shot. So I did. And he examined me. There is no blood test for fibromyalgia, by the way. You just sort of have to meet a bunch of checklists off. And a lot of times it's a process of elimination. And that's what was going on with me. You don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this. And finally I had a name. Finally somebody says, this is what you have and this is how we're going to treat it. I was overwhelmed. He started me on the medication. I had my life back in 2 weeks. Now, let me tell you what this medication was. It was an antidepressant. They have found that that antidepressants treat chronic physical pain well, just like they do chronic mental pain in very low dosage. And I probably was 75% of my pain was gone. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I mean, I took on life and I went on about my way. Now, I want to bring this up. I'm still on one. I've had to change I've gotten on better ones that have less side effects and this and that, and I'm on a good one right now. I've been on a long, long time. I want to say this. I've had a lot of criticism for being on a medication. And I will tell you this. I want to go back to what I said earlier. You have to function. You have to have quality of life. So I reconcile that with I take this little pill at a low dosage, and I'm managing. Don't let anybody put you down because you have to take that for a treatment. All right, so at this point in my life, I had good news, bad news situation going on. The good news was, lady, you're not dying. Fibromyalgia will not kill you. It'll make your life miserable if you let it. And the bad news was, it wasn't going away. Y'all, I think that was one of my hardest points when I had to realize this was it. I got to figure it out, man. I got to figure this out. And so that's when I started with how am I going to manage this? Because I didn't want to go to bed. Y'all, I've got some friends that have given up. They've gone to bed with this stuff. I have one friend on a morphine patch. I'll have to say, never, not one time ever have I gone on a narcotic or opioid or anything. Listen, don't give me something that covers the pain magically, because I'm not going to come back from that. I'll tell you right now, I would never come back from it, and I can't allow that to happen. That's just my viewpoint. If you're looking for a diagnosis, you can start with your primary care guy. I personally go to a rheumatologist, and they specialize in that condition. So that's what I would recommend. Number 3, how to manage this stuff. What? You know, if you're not in a crisis state and you're kind of just starting out, I would recommend first, I'd recommend lifestyle changes. I didn't know it back in the day, and I was in a crisis. So yeah, before you start, if you can, without starting any medications, try to do that. My main 3 things I try to manage is fatigue, the muscle pain, and the joint pain, and sleep. Fibromyalgia people don't get that deep sleep. That's just another whole symptom. I don't know why, but we don't. So I manage that as best as I can. I have a pretty ordered life. If I'm going to teach piano from 3 to 6 in the afternoon, I don't run around town all morning. Now, I have chores I do. This won't get done today. But before I pull out of my driveway to go teach, I rest an hour at minimal. So I've learned how to do that. I watch my life. I manage my life. So you have to know your body. You have to know your strengths and your weaknesses. In terms of lifestyle changes, here's my philosophy. Eat well, sleep well, move well, and pray well. All the things. But eat well. For the most part, I try to follow that anti-inflammatory diet, and you can find that anywhere. Google it. That helps reduce inflammation in your body. But if you don't want to fool with all of that, it's too much, overwhelming to start with. Start simple and try to get the white stuff out of your life. White sugar, white rice, white potatoes, white, all of the starchy stuff like that. Work with that, and then one thing at a time. And don't try to do it all at once, but drink a lot of water and that sort of thing. Sleep well. I work real hard at that. Sometimes I'll take a hot bath, a warm bath with Epsom salts before I go to bed. I'll drink some chamomile tea. I read in bed. I enjoy a heating pad. And I just center myself. I pray, and then I do my best. I am managing my life and this disorder that I have. I don't take it lightly. Move well. Y'all, don't let fibromyalgia steal your hope and steal your body. Don't go to bed, even though you want to go to bed. I mean, there's sometimes you got to go to bed, but don't let your body lock up. So you have to move. I do a full-on stretch every morning, and I'm going to do a video on that. I got it from a rheumatologist. several different physical therapy I've been to, and I use some of those exercises. I'm going to share that. That's real important. Gentle stretch. Swimming is the best. Swimming is the best. It's absolutely fabulous for fibro. I live in Florida. I'm fortunate. But inclement weather, I do a walking thing in the house. You can walk, whatever you can still do. Just keep moving, okay? All right, and then pray well. I pray every day, Lord, thank you that I'm breathing air today. Thank you, I'm breathing air today. And please give me the health and strength to do what I got to do today. And I get up and I go about my business. Y'all, I hope this has been helpful for y'all. And I hope you might get some answers and give you a direction in which to move. But at any rate, I'll say it one more time. Don't let fibromyalgia steal your joy and take the joy out of your life. Just don't let it do it, y'all. I can do it, you can do it, and we'll do it together. How about that? Y'all be blessed today. Find something to smile about, and I will see y'all next time. Bye now.